the cheating scandal that destroyed a power couple. The restaurant lights above us shimmered like soft gold, but the glow did nothing to warm the space between us. Across the table, Noah was laughing, too loudly, too freely, at a text message he tried to hide behind the water glass. He angled his phone away from me ever so slightly, just enough to signal he didn't want me to see it, but not enough that he looked like he was hiding something. Except he was, and I knew it. But I didn't react. Not yet. Not tonight. I twirled my glass of wine and offered a smile that didn't reach my eyes. Noah didn't notice, or maybe he did and chose to ignore it. Either way, the moment had already wedged itself into my mind like a splinter. Before I tell you how everything fell apart and how I rebuilt myself from the ruins, make sure to like and subscribe. Stories like this, they change how people see themselves, and I don't want you to miss any of them. Now, let's go back to the beginning. Who we were before the break. My name is Isabel Hart, and for 5 years, Noah and I were the couple everyone pointed to and said, goals. Perfect. The power duo. Together, we built Hart & Co., a rising lifestyle brand with clean aesthetics, relentless discipline, and a carefully curated image. I handled strategy, operations, and growth. Noah handled marketing and public relations. He was the charming face, I was the invisible engine. And for a long time, that worked. We weren't just business partners. We were lovers, co-founders, two halves of a machine that turned ambition into reality. But the thing about building an empire together is this. If one person starts cracking, the whole foundation trembles. The shift began slowly. Late nights that weren't on his calendar, sudden client dinners that didn't involve clients, a new cologne I hadn't smelled before, a phone he kept face down at all times. But the real fracture came the night I got access to our joint social media analytics. Purely routine, purely business. Except there was a private message thread between Noah and someone named Ava DL, a thread archived manually, one with disappearing messages, one with just enough leftover fragments to tell me everything I needed to know. Flirty emojis, meeting confirmations, inside jokes I had never heard, photos that weren't explicit, but intimate enough. And the worst part, I knew Ava. She wasn't a stranger. She was our brand photographer, someone I trusted with our image, someone I invited into our home, someone who looked at me with warm eyes and asked me how I was doing while sneaking into Noah's hotel room on business trips. My stomach dropped, but my face was calm. Years of corporate discipline kicked in immediately. If there's anything business teaches you, it's that emotional reactions lose leverage. Evidence does not. So I didn't confront him. Not yet. I gathered information quietly, like someone preparing for a storm no one else could feel. The collapse begins. The next week at the office, everything felt fragile. A tense energy hung between us. Noah tried to act normal, but there was a skittishness to him, a guilt he couldn't hide. Whenever he got texts from Ava, he angled his body away from me, pretending he was reading emails. I didn't act jealous, I didn't pry, I didn't accuse. Instead, I pulled back. I worked only on my tasks. I stopped covering for his mistakes. I stopped doing the emotional labor, the planning, the damage control he always relied on. And slowly, almost beautifully, the system started cracking. A mismanaged collaboration blew up online. A misquoted statement in an interview sparked backlash. A supplier issue went unresolved because I didn't jump in to fix it. Noah panicked. He flailed. He blamed everything except himself. Meanwhile, I observed. I documented. I prepared. 2 weeks later, I received an anonymous message to my business email. You deserve to know the truth. Attached were screenshots, hotel receipts, photos, voice notes. Ava's voice, Noah's voice. Proof of everything. An icy calm washed over me. By the time I walked into the office that morning, I wasn't heartbroken anymore. I was focused. Noah was already inside the conference room, pacing. "We need to talk," he said, sounding frantic. "Yes," I agreed. "We do." His shoulders relaxed in relief, as if he thought I would offer comfort. But then I placed the folder on the table. He froze. His eyes darted across the images as the blood drained from his face. "Isabel, this isn't—" "Let me explain." "No," I said quietly. "You've explained enough." He sank into the chair, hands trembling. "Are you going to leave?" he whispered. There it was. His greatest fear. Not losing me. Losing the empire I had built. I leaned forward, voice steady. "I'm not leaving the company. You are." His head snapped up. You can't do that. Hart & Co. needs both of us." Actually, I slided another sheet across the table. "The board disagrees." His mouth fell open when he read the vote. 7-1. Majority in my favor. What he hadn't realized was that while I was quietly gathering evidence of his affair, I was also gathering support from the team he had neglected, overworked, and dismissed for years. Every person he underestimated voted against him. Noah resigned publicly a week later. The press called it creative differences, but the industry knew. Whispers spread like wildfire. The power couple is over. He cheated. She rebuilt without him. And I evolved. Hart & Co. rebranded with a focus on empowerment, authenticity, and rebuilding. Sales doubled. Clients praised the transparency. Employees said the office felt lighter. People expected me to crumble. Instead, I became stronger. One afternoon, as I reviewed campaign drafts, my assistant asked, "Does it ever hurt?" I paused, smiled softly. "It did," I said. "But sometimes what feels like destruction is just the container breaking, so you have room to grow." If you've ever felt betrayed by someone who was supposed to be your partner in life, in business, or in trust, remember this: their betrayal is not your failure. It's their limit, not yours. You are not defined by what they did. You're defined by what you do next. And if this story gave you strength, make sure to like and subscribe for more stories that remind you you can rise from anything, even from the ruins of a perfect couple.